Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are here live, Mindset Monday. I hope you guys are off to a great start in the new year. I am here with my co-host, Dave. Dave, what's going on, brother?
Jonathan, I'm great. How are you, buddy?
Good, good. So prior to us coming on, Dave had a great idea. He wanted to talk about auditing time, and I got to tell you, that I'm in 75 hard again, it's crazy how much that time audit comes into play. And I'm going to give you guys a couple things that I've done to make some of these production pivots, if you will, because they do matter. Okay, the reality is we have never been more distracted as a society ever. Okay, kids are on electronics, adults don't pick their head up from their phone. Nobody lives outside anymore, and it's very easy to get distracted when you're in the office. I'm very guilty of it. I know sometimes I'll hear my phone chirp or vibrate, and I'll look down when I'm on this. Okay, so where everybody is, no one's immune to this, is what I'm trying to say. All right, and one of the things that I've done is I have actually deleted certain social apps off my phone. Like I got rid of TikTok. I know that's crazy because it could generate a lot of business. But for me, I was consuming, I wasn't producing. All right. So when you guys are looking at social media apps, okay, that you use or you use a lot, think about it in terms of this: are you producing or are you consuming? Okay. Consuming would be you're just going to sit there and scroll and scroll and scroll. Producing is, hey, I'm going to make a few posts. I'll come back in 4 or 5 hours to check them, and I'm trying to add value and potentially do more business. Right. So think about it: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. That's usually where the most active. Okay. I did not need TikTok, so that's how I audit my time. The other way I audit my time is strict adherence to a calendar. Okay. I will tell you this, and some people do not like it, especially when they come in and start working with me, and some love it. And most people, everybody should respect it. And what I will tell you is if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. Okay. So I don't take random phone calls. I won't answer them because I'm focused on the task at hand. And so when people need to speak with me, I always ask that they use my scheduling link. It's in my bio, it's in my email, it's absolutely everywhere. Okay. And that's literally how I run my entire week is I have certain hours where I'll take calls, and then the rest of the time it's focused on high level production. And since I've done that, I can tell you that I have increased my earnings by probably 2 to 3 times what they were. Okay. And you could say, oh, that's crazy. It's not crazy. You're dedicating time and you're being focused. So you have focused for work versus being distracted and running around all day and getting nothing done and just being busy. All right. So when you're auditing your time, you want to think of are you being productive or are you being busy? Productive is great, busy, not so much. All right. And then there's one other thing, and Dave, I don't want to run into anything you were going to talk about, but the other thing is if you've never done this before, you should probably write down every task that you do for a week, okay, as you're doing it. All right. Take notes of everything you do throughout the day. And then what I would tell you is think about what you make an hour. Okay. So if you're making, let's just say $100 an hour, you should not be doing any tasks that are less than $100 an hour tasks. So think about it in these terms. You can get somebody to cut your lawn for probably 20, 30, $40 a week. Okay. That is certainly less, that's less than $100 an hour task. Okay. That's something that you should pay someone else to do. That type of thinking also comes into play in your business. Okay. What are you working on your business that someone else could for less than whatever your hourly rate is? Okay. And by you doing this, you're prioritizing money making activities and things that are important, things that only you can do. And you're effectively delegating the rest that's on your plate. And if you can consistently do this, let's say you do this once a month or once a quarter, okay? not only will your income grow, you're going to free up a lot of your time and or get rid of a lot of your burden and stress. Dave, what do you got on this?
Man, Jonathan, you stole basically everything from me. No, I'm just kidding, man. The great thing is, no, I mean, again, it's very simple. You know what I mean? And to add to that is it's like it's two sides of the equation, right? It's focus and distractions. You know, you couldn't have said it any better. I mean, Jonathan, I mean, you're the one who kind of got my focus and my attention to auditing my time better, right? Like how you am I 100% at it? No. I'm probably about 90, but 6 months ago I was probably 15, right? So so like, well, yeah, and guys, look, realistically, it's
what are the differences you've noticed since you've narrowed in on that? That's a great way to, yeah, like, what have you noticed? What more? How much more productive have you been since you made that shift?
Very, you know, and the big difference to that is one of the things that a lot of people have a hard time is letting go of certain things that they're accustomed to doing. But the production side, yeah, busy versus productive. But the production side, there's a lot more high value tasks going on. Perfect example, right? What's income? It doesn't necessarily have to be revenue coming in, but it's also what can you delegate, right? To buy back your time equation. Well, we have a new partner on board. We have a new sales rep. We're in the process of having a whole customer service team, not just one team. It looks like it's going to be about 4 or 5 people coming in. Why? Just like you said, the time that we're dealing or delegating to certain aspects in our business, it's not driving the wheel either efficiently or as quickly where it needs to go. And all that, really, it comes down to a question: what do you like and what don't you like? You know what I mean? If there's something you're doing that sucks, that you don't like, it's, oh man, like Jonathan said, what does that cost you per hour? It's not about what it really costs per hour. What is it costing your mental state? That's the way I look at it. It's like, man, if I absolutely hate doing this, then, you know, what's my buyback rate? How can I buy back my time on this? You know, that's something that people have a hard time letting go of the reins. You know, it's a control thing. But you know, that efficiency, man, I can say when you audit every half hour, working on it to be 15 minutes, but that time you start through your day, you block it out. Okay, what do you know you have to do? What do you have to put in this certain time block? I have this amount of time for calls. I have this amount of time for my team. I have this amount of time to create new relationships. Then I have this amount of time for my family. Okay, is it going to go perfect all the time? No, it's not. And that's where a pivot's going to come into play. Perfect example is yesterday. We got rocked with snow, right? On a Sunday. Most people don't want to do anything. You know, it's the last weekend of football season, but it's okay. How can we take from here to there and adjust that with snow removal, with other things that we're supposed to get done? And you get it done. Well, guess what? We got it done because we focused on the time that we had. And football's not really a priority, if you ask me. So
yeah,
it's pretty simple, man. But Jonathan, I give you your due on that, because my focus for this year is to maximize my time. And to me, it's the most priceless thing that you can do is audit your time and invest it to either yourself and proper needs, or delegate it and invest it out to something else.
Yeah. And to really simplify even already in my mind simple thing, you're either spending time producing or consuming, and it doesn't matter if you're on social media or not. Okay. And you know deep down when you're producing and when you're consuming. All right. Everybody does. You know when you should be working and you got shit to do, and when you're just dicking off. And at the end of the day, where you're going to make the most progress is being self-aware and cutting those times where you're consuming shorter and shorter and shorter until they're not really there, or they're very infrequent. Okay. So what I would do is focus on being self-aware. Hey, what am I doing right now? Oh, I'm on my phone. What could I be doing? Well, I should probably get off of this and maybe call some people that I'm behind on calling. Those are what I would really, really focus on, because by focusing on shrinking, okay, that activity or that time where you're consuming and making it time that you're producing, okay, the more often you can do that and make that production pivot, the more you're going to produce, and honestly, the happier you're going to be and the less stress you're going to have. And we got a question here, and I love it. Do you guys limit optimization for working hours, 9 to 5 mentality, or is it all day, every day? That's a great question, man. That is an amazing question, Jax. I'll tell you, the reality is I used to try to do 24/7. There are always things to do. The way I work my schedule is I get up in the morning, I work out, I cold plunge, get to the office early. I try to get there between 8:30, and then I usually work until about 6 or 7. Now, there are macro things that I have to do outside of the office. So if there's big projects to do, I'll take them home late night, or I'll take them home on a Saturday. I always give myself one day of uninterrupted downtime. Okay, like I'll give you a great example. This weekend, we had my entire team in for our quarterly EOS meeting. Okay, and our year planning meeting. That was an all-day Friday and Saturday event. Sunday, I came in the office only because I needed to just do something real quick, and I bounced, and I was at home. And then, this Sunday was a little crazy. I did have a project to work on, so I did shoot some content. But most times, I leave one day uninterrupted for family time, and so that's the schedule I've run. It's been very, very helpful. Not everyone needs to do that. However, I would suggest if you have really, really high goals and you need to lock it in and focus, there are certain times that there's things that you can't do when you're in an office, right? So when I produce content, I know it has to be early or late. Why? Because I got a lot of people in here that are on the phone. And so it's just really picking your time, and some of it becomes an individual situation type of deal. But that was a great question. Thank you for asking that. We got to catch up. I got to see you soon. And guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on Financial Fitness Friday. And be well, kick ass. Catch you then.
And be great, y'all.
No.